Hello students, now in this session I will explain question number 6, sum number 1, sum number 2 and sum number 3, okay, of exercise 5.2. Now what is there in question number 6 students? So in the given figure, so there is 3 figures are given, okay. So in question number 1 there is one figure is given. I will draw the figure. So in the figure given below, decide whether L is parallel to M or not. So we have to prove it. So this is the figure given, students. See, this is the figure given. These are the 2 lines. Okay, and there is another line is given like this. Okay, there's another line is given like this, and it is named as L, and this line is named as L, and this line is named as M. Now we have to prove that L is parallel to M. Some values are also given, students. So values, this angle is given 44 degree and this angle is given 126 degree. Okay, now we have to prove that whether L and M is parallel or not. Fine. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to think that L and M are parallel. You have to think that. You have to assume that L and M are parallel lines. So you will write, let us consider L is parallel to M. Let us consider this. Okay. Now, and we'll also consider N as a transversal line. And also consider N as transversal line. Fine. So these 2 things we have assumed. Now, so if this is a parallel line and this line is acting as a transversal line, so we know that, we'll write that, we know that sum of angles, okay, the sum of angles, or not only angles you will write interior, because it is inside the parallel line, so you will write sum of interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Fine, on the same side of the transversal. See, these 2 angles are on the same side of the transversal. On the same side of the transversal line is always what? Is 180 degree, because they are co-interior angle. We have studied this, isn't it? So they will be co-interior angle. So the sum of these 2 angles should be 180 degree. Now let us see what is the sum of these 2. So 126 degree plus 44 degree is coming 170. Oh my God, 170, but it should have come 180. So when the sum is not equals to 180 degree, so what we will write? We will write that we'll write since the sum is not 180 degree, so line L and M are not parallel. Okay, so this is how you have to prove that the 2 lines L and M are parallel or not. You just cannot write just by seeing the figure. I can say that these are all the shortcut methods will not work. Fine. So you have to write the detailed form. Now let's move on to sum number 2. So this is the figure of sum number 2, students. Again we have to prove that whether L and M are parallel or not. Now most of the students will say, no sir, this is not parallel. But why it is not parallel, you have to prove. Okay, you just cannot say directly, no sir, it is not parallel. This will not work. Now what is the first thing that we have to do? Same sentence we have to write what we have written for sum number 1. Let us consider L and M. L is parallel to M, and also consider N as a transversal line. So this red line will consider as transversal line. Fine. Now what is the next thing? What is the next thing that we'll do? We'll let this angle as X. Okay. Now we have studied that if two lines intersect at one point, then the opposite angles are equal. And why they are equal? Because they are vertically opposite to each other, isn't it? So we'll write that x is equals to 75 degree. We'll also write the result. Remember, every time I'm saying, if you're not writing the reason, you will not get the marks. So reason is extremely important. So vertically opposite angle. Fine. So why you're saying x is equals to 75 degree? You have to write the reason. So it is vertically opposite angle. Now as we have considered that L and M are parallel and N is a transversal line, so you see again same thing is coming, isn't it? That means we'll write, we know that sum of interior angles on the same side of a transversal line is what? Is 180 degree. That means now we know that x is equals to 75 degree. That means if these two lines are parallel, then the sum of these two angles should be equals to 180 degree. Now let's see whether the sum is 180 degree or not. No, the sum is not 180 degree. So we'll write, since the sum is not 180 degree, so we can say line L and M are not parallel. Okay, so this is how we'll conclude the sum. Now let's see sum number 3. So students, this is sum number 3. It's more or less very similar to the rest of the two sums that we have done, the previous sums. Now we have to again prove that L and M are parallel or not. So what is the first thing that we have to write? Let us consider L is parallel to M. This is a short way of writing parallel. L is parallel to M, and also consider N as the transversal line. This red line. Fine. Now what is the first thing that we'll do? We'll consider this angle as x. This angle as x. Now we know that these two lines are intersecting, so the opposite angles will be equal. And why they are equal? Because they are vertically opposite angles. So we'll write x is equals to 57 degree. And why 57 degree? Because it is vertically opposite angle. Now as we have already assumed that these two lines are parallel to each other, then the angles, the sum of the interior angles on the same side of the transversal line should be equals to 180 degree. That means the sum of these two angles should be 180 degree. This is what we have to write. See, again same thing you have to write. So we know that sum of interior angles on the same side of a transversal line is 180 degree. Now as we already know that, what is the value of x? What is the value of x? 57 degree. So we have to see the sum is coming 180 degree or not. So that means 57 degree plus 123 degree, and this time we are getting 180 degree, isn't it? We are getting 180 degree. So we'll write, since the sum is 180 degree, so we can say lines L and M are parallel to each other. Fine. I hope all of you have understood these things. So remember that if this type of question comes, please give the detailed information. Do not just write no, it is not parallel, yes, it is parallel. So this type of answer will not work, because this question will carry at least 2 marks. So yes or no is not a satisfying answer. Okay. So thank you so much. God bless you all. Take care everyone. Stay blessed.